Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to the Hangin with Web Show. I'm GW Pometer. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, go on down and hit subscribe for us. And get ready to check out We Need a Hero Con, coming to us all the way from upstate New York. Ellie Ingraham is on the scene talking to some fantastic creators, authors, comic book inkers, voiceover actors, you name it, it's there at We Need a Hero Con to benefit the Utica Children's Museum in upstate New York. So let's go to Ellie Ingraham and see who she's hanging with now.
Hey guys, today we're here at the Children's Museum in Utica, New York at HeroCon 2017 event fundraiser. All proceeds from today and tomorrow's HeroCon event go to support the Utica Children's Museum. The atmosphere here is electric. There are creators of all industries. We have artists, actors, directors, authors, performers, you name it, they're here supporting this great cause. Right now we're sitting and we're talking with one of my favorite authors, Dennis Webster. He's an author and a ghost seeker. So thank you so much for hanging with us.
Well, thank you, Allison. It's great to be here.
So tell me about murder in Herkimer County, of Herkimer County teacher.
Yeah, this is my new book that just came out last month. This is about the Lita Beecher murder and the Jean Giannini trial that happened in Herkimer County in 1914.
And that happened in Poland, right?
Poland, New York, correct. She was the first teacher murdered by her student, and it was a very landmark case.
Yeah, wow. So what inspired you to write about this?
Well, I was approached by Sue Perkins, who's the executive director of the Herkimer County Historical Society, to write about this because it's not very well known in our area. A lot of people know the Chester Gillette trial and story. They know the Roxalana Drews story, but they really don't know much about the Lita Beecher Jean Giannini trial. And this had a lot of firsts. It was the first trial to allow the Binet scale, which was an intelligence test for children and teenagers. And that test allowed Gene to be found not guilty by reason of insanity. He had the mind of a 10-year-old child.
Oh my goodness. So you had to do a lot of interviews, digging, research. Oh,
yeah,
that must have been interesting.
It was amazing. I read all 4,000 hand-typed pages of the transcript of the trial, which took me 6 months. But it was amazing, the information in there, you know?
Yes. And then to put that all together and write about it, how challenging was that?
It's very challenging when you're writing nonfiction because you got to be so careful that you get the details correct, your facts correct. And the thing is, especially when you're going way back in time like that, you'll find different newspapers write things differently. They may have names different, dates different. It's amazing how, so you're trying to get through that to figure out what is the truth.
Yes. Let's talk about, you are also a ghost seeker.
That's correct. I'm a paranormal investigator with the Ghost Seekers of Central New York.
That is so awesome.
And we've written a lot of books and we've done a lot of investigations. Haunted Old Forge is our newest one. We did a big walking tour last summer of the Four Corners in Herkimer, the courthouse, Dr. Souter's mansion, and the jail, where Chester Gillette was held.
So you find a lot of...
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the valley in our area, Mohawk Valley, and it has a lot of haunted locations. Down in where you're from, in the Ilion area, we found some amazing places. The Ilion Little Theater, very haunted. Overlook Mansion, incredibly haunted, just as much as Beardsley Castle, which everybody knows Beardsley. It's legendary. But the Overlook was just off the hook, stuffed full of paranormal activity in that beautiful Victorian mansion.
Yeah. We were talking off camera. I could feel the energy to the point where I couldn't wait to get out of there. It wasn't scary. It was, I think I'm like a little sensitive.
Oh, sure.
And I couldn't.
You're in tune to the paranormal. You could be a sensitive. You could be an empath type of person.
And it was, I had to, I couldn't wait to get finished with my reading.
We didn't think it was a dark place, but it was filled with a lot of haunted activity. The caretaker who lives there, because the owners do not live in that building, and he talks about in the middle of the night he hears all sorts of dishes clinking and people talking in the kitchen and everything else. And the night of the investigation, I had a book fly off a shelf and hit me in the chest. When I was standing in the front, entranceway where the counter is, and they have those books.
Was that like scary? Well, you're used to it, probably.
Yeah. Well, we had one really interesting thing happen to us at the Ilion Little Theater. Okay.
Okay.
Now there's props, there's stage props. Well, they have an old rotary phone sitting there that's got no guts in it. It's not hooked up. They use it in their plays. Well, one of our investigators in the course of the investigation picked up it and said, "I'm going to break on through to the other side." And he goes, "Hello." And we picked up a man with an English accent going, "Hello," back.
Oh, my heavens.
And we played this when we did our public reveal there, and people were blown away. It was unbelievable. I actually got pushed off a ladder there. I was putting a camera up, and something pushed my leg, and I fell off the ladder, and I landed, boom, on the ground. The only time I've ever really been physically touched or pushed by an entity in that building.
God. So when you do your ghost seeking and you find them, do people want you? I guess my question is: are ghost seekers different than someone coming in and trying to get spirit to go to the light?
Correct. We do investigations. We've been doing this a long time. Bernadette Peck, our lead investigator, has been doing this for 40 years. And she'll say, you cannot guarantee to cleanse a house. I don't care who it is, a psychic, a medium, whatever. You can do things like burn sage, or you can gently ask and say, you're not welcome here, please leave. But most people coexist quite nicely with ghosts and entities that are in their houses. Very, very rarely do you come across something that's dark or demonic or evil. Right. We very, very rarely run into anything like that. Most of the time, the spirits tend to be like we are in life. They're curious, they're shy, they may be grumpy, and people get along just fine. Most people don't want us to ask them to leave. They like them just the way they are.
Oh. Now, have you done any, like the insane asylums? Like, I know that place, where is that, in Pennsylvania?
They're difficult to get into. For instance, locally here, we did an outside perimeter sweep of Old Main here in Utica, the Utica Psychiatric Center, which is the original lunatic asylum built in 1843. It's dangerous. They have fences around it because they don't want people trespassing. But we did do a sweep around the outside of it. We were not allowed entrance in the building, but we did pick up an entity looking at us out the second floor window.
Oh, see, I've heard that's haunted, and I wasn't never.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, any place like that has a lot of paranormal activity because of a lot of the sadness that went on there, the patients that were in there, and the number of people that had passed away in that building over the years.
So, do you like writing? Or do you like the paranormal seeking? Are they equally?
I love all of it. I do. I really do. It's a passion. When you do things like ghost investigations or writing books, you got to really love this stuff because, it's time. You don't make money off of this. It's for the fun. It's for the thrill, the excitement, the unknown. But writing is kind of a lonely occupation. I do something that's called ribe tukis. It's a Yiddish term, which means rub your seat in the bottom of the chair. So you can pontificate all you want about writing a book, but you actually got to sit down and do it, and it takes a lot of time. But only by writing something you truly love will you have something that comes out. It's too much work to do it if you're not really into it.
Yeah, as with any career, I guess. Do you do fiction, or do you base your writings on true events?
I've done both. I've got a couple of fiction books out, which have not sold very well, but I enjoy fiction because you can suspend disbelief. You can pretty much say whatever you want, but when you write nonfiction, it's different. But I do like the whole investigating into things like the whole Lita Beecher trial and digging out those details and finding, unknown facts about the case that people never heard about before, and then letting the public know. Yeah.
So when you're writing as a fictional, are you a planster or a plotter?
I'm a planster. It's interesting because I talk to a lot of writers, and I tend to be, most writers are the way I write. They'll have a beginning of their book, and they know how they want to end it, but how do they make that journey from one to the other? They don't know. You don't know until the muse takes over when you're writing, and that's an interesting thing too, where you can, as a writer, they call it that because I've experienced where I've written stuff and then I set it down. A few months later, I go back to read it and I'm like, I wrote that? I don't remember writing that.
Oh, the muse blues took over.
Right.
Absolutely.
I've never had writer's block. The people I run into that tend to have writer's block are the ones that want to be absolutely perfect. They can't move on to that next sentence, that next paragraph. You know, me, I just write very loose, a lot of mistakes, a lot of grammar mistakes, because I don't think about that. I just think
Right.
about the flow of the story and the plot. Stephen King writes that way. I read about him in his fantastic book on writing. Stephen King says that if you saw my stuff before my editors got it, you wouldn't believe it. But he just thinks of the flow of the story and the creativity and the characters and the plot and all that part of it. I mean, you could write a perfect book that's grammar-free with no errors, but it'll read like stereo instructions.
Right.
So you want some panache, some flair to it?
Yeah. Are we ready to play? Oh, yes. He is telling me we're playing a game called clickbait. Did you ever hear of that? Clickbait is when you're on the internet and you click on a link and you think it's going to take you to where you want to go, but it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, that's happened to me.
So this is, our girls in Florida have trolled the internet looking for questions, some silly, some, I don't know where they come from, that internet people want to know. So we are going to say, what's your ultimate midnight snack when you're writing?
I would say salsa and chips. I know, and that's a horrible thing to eat at midnight. It's sloppy. You don't want the salsa dripping on your keyboard. The crumbs are getting in the keyboard or all over the place. But I don't know. I have such a weakness for that. Such a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I wake up and I want something salty and tangy, it's almost like the peppers wake you up.
Yep, that's the best choice. There you go. If you could have anyone locked in a room, so you could treat them for a day, who would it be and what would you do?
I would absolutely lock up and torment my oldest brother because I'm one of 7 children. I'm number 5. My oldest brother was such a jackass when we were growing up. I love him dearly, but he was horrible. I would do the stunt that he pulled on me and my little brother. I would get a big bag full of treats and I would say, "Hey Jim, you want one?" "Yes, I want one." And I would dig in the bag and I'd go, "There's your one." Because he did that to us as little kids, and he was awful. And do you think he ever gave us one of the treats in the bag? No, he did not. No, he did not. So it's revenge.
Oh my God, there you go. Guys, I've had so much fun hanging with Dennis Webster. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, let us know what you think of today's show and our guest. You can also check our guest link below. Remember to subscribe. That's what keeps us being able to do what we do, bringing our creators and our authors and our, our people that we love to interview and showcase and promote. Log in, stay tuned, see who we're hanging with next.
Love it.
I just threw them off.
Thank you so much, Ellie, for bringing that to us from the floor of We Need a Hero Con in Utica, New York. We're going to wrap it up now, and as we do, we thank our partners at Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics, the Florida Book News, Wordfire Press, and of course our great friends at Something Unique Magazine. These are folks that share these videos all over the World Wide Web. I hope that you will too. Leave a comment. Remember, folks, subscribe to the channel. We really need you to share these videos, share these artists and creators all over the World Wide Web. I'm GW Pomacher. We've been hanging with Ellie Ingraham from the Utica Children's Museum at We Need a Hero Con. Remember, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.